as a person. Now, many people have said that he's arrogant based on some, responses he gives or the way he carries himself. There are others who are also of the view that he's a very generous person because he gives freely and all that. As a political watcher yourself, Austin Wood, how would you describe him? Would you agree with people who say he's arrogant? And the other bit where he's more like a philanthropist and all that, would you say that that is a true, description of him?
Okay, thank you. Dave, I think that if you take the latter, him being generous is is for people who have had personal encounters with him. So I don't see why the NPP surrogates on social media are playing that card, because you don't expect the over 17 million eligible voters all to have had personal encounters with him. So when you tout his achievements or his credentials and you are bringing in his generals, it, it's it's I don't know, it's a personal encounter with him that would bring out that thing that people see in him. So that will not go for me because I have not encountered him probably. So he would not have been generous to me or someone close to me. So that part they are playing, I think that is moot. But for the arrogance part, you see, discussions have been had on this, and I think that the NPP, looking at how political savvy they have been, should not play into that card. They should just let it sleeping dogs lie. But they also say only thieves allow sleeping dogs to lie. Why am I saying this, Dave? You see, if someone is selected for leadership positions and you need to convince others that that person who has been in public office is not arrogant, then it means that for starters, there are things that people do not feel attracted to. You can say all the things you would say about Dr. Duchum. You can say all you would say about Che Mensa, but ask yourself, they have also been in parliament. They've been in the public space as servants. Will anybody use that against them? So the NPP should be very careful how they try to demystify this arrogance tag around Dr. Matthew Opoku Prempeh. I think that they should leave it and talk about other attributes that he has. Because if you keep playing it, then you see what happens is the opposition or your opponents would keep bringing in things and feeding it to the Ghanaian public to show that we believe he is arrogant. And that will not augur well for the candidate. I believe that Dr. Matthew Poku Prempeh has other strong attributes. They should champion those ones.
Okay, so if you recall, Austin, I said I would like for us to talk about his strengths. So let's now put aside the issue or the tag of arrogance and take a look at his strengths. What do you have to say? What would you say his strengths are?
For me, I think that he is a thoroughbred NPP person. And it helps in this conversation because he brings a certain level of expertise in political discussions and also political knowledge. Also, for him to have been cabinet minister in the two terms of President Akufo-Addo in different ministries shows that he has acquired a lot of experience, because the major plank of the Akufo-Addo governance or government would forever be his ideas on education. And the biggest one has to be his implementation of free secondary high school education. Matthew Poku Prempeh was the one as education minister who championed that, who oversaw to the implementation of that. So anytime an Akufo-Addo presidency is spoken about for generations to come, Matthew Poku Prempeh's name would be attached to it. Also, at the Ministry of Energy, I think that that is where his biggest challenges have come. But you asked Eugene about why it kept delaying. it will tell you that if you look at the time Dr. Baumia's team put out that they would be announcing a vice presidential aspirant, and for them to have kept postponing it, if you check the three occasions in April, May, June, you'd realize that the Ministry of Energy had come under intense pressure with the doomsday. So you cannot mention the Minister of Energy as your vice presidential candidate when Ghanaians were going through that. But overall, for his performance in the energy ministry, you would think that aside the current doomsday that we faced, there has not been so much talk and scandals around him. So he comes around as scandal free for a politician in Ghana. For his competences, if I am assessing Dave, I think that he will fall short for me. Why? Because you see, education is not just about secondary or high school education. If you speak to people in the education sector, if you speak to political think tanks like Edward who are conducting basic and collecting information from education, it tells you that basic education has been on the decline under that Opoku Prempeh. There have been huge challenges because we even changed curriculum and we are not giving them textbooks. There have been a lot of issues with basic education when Opoku Prempeh was education minister. There have been challenges with even tertiary education. He has had encounters where people in tertiary education, the stakeholders have said that he was doing something that was contrary to what they expect him to do to help build that part of the education sector. Also, talk about energy. Dave, ECG has had challenges. He is the sector minister. Dave, if as at now, we have still not been able to reduce our transmission losses, ECG has failed in upping their game in their collection. And we have this huge debt hanging over us. You see, I don't know why Dr. Opoku Prempeh gets away with the challenges in the energy and power sector whilst he is energy minister. We blame the ECG boss more than Dr. Opoku Prempeh, but he is the head of the ministry. He is the energy minister. The challenges ECG faces, transmission losses, the challenges it faces with IPP payments, the challenges and all that, it is at his doorstep. Look at how much we are paying for fuel. He's the energy minister. Look at how much theft is going into our power sector. He's the energy minister. What structural changes has he brought to the energy ministry? I think that if Opoku Prempeh leaves the energy ministry today, I don't think the ministry would have been better off than how he met it, per my indices. So for me, the energy ministry has not left any mark for me. And I think that is one of his negatives for me. But for him, the party he represents, the kind of election we are going into 2024, Dave, Opoku Prempeh is the key for the NPP in these circumstances.
All right, so Eugene will be sharing with us some figures in terms of his performance, from the education sector to the energy sector and all that. But